5, folks. Woo!
Week 5.
Week 5. We're past that month mark. Wonderful.
We are.
We are. That's a bit wild, don't you think?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a month.
No, it does not. But episode 5, we're going to be dealing with nature, but in video games.
Mm.
Bum, bum, bum.
Let's figure this out first. I mean, those are like two completely opposite things, right?
Yeah, they are.
Nature and the old video games. But there are quite a few games that incorporate that whole thing into itself, the whole nature interaction.
Yeah, and I mean, not even to that extreme of an extent. You still have some aspects of nature in most video games.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah,
even if you're in a city, you usually have some form of bird sound going in
that's
the
true.
background.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess my first point on this is kind of, has it gotten better since the first few video games?
Hmm.
And I want to say yes. Yes, it has. Um, Compared, like, even just the graphics. And that kind of came with the advance of technology in games,
Hmm.
and then that kind of followed suit with it. Um,
Right.
but I mean, like, look at, what was it, Skyrim,
Yeah.
and then look at Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my God.
It's like night and day.
Yeah, you got a point there.
I mean, it's just crazy on how much of a jump that has happened.
And it's almost like these uh, they're not called producers, but the company that builds the game, what are they called?
I don't
The
know, executives,
I don't know what they're
game
called,
directors.
but the company that produces the game, it's almost like they hire naturalists or nature interpreters to bring in photos and descriptions of different trees and different plants and the bark pattern and stuff, like for Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, they're so precise with the plant they're portraying.
Hmm.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally gotten way better. You can look in a game and find actual plants that you can go out and find in the real world,
Hmm.
like specific species almost.
Right. Yeah, like in your backyard.
Yeah,
I feel like there's something in Red Dead where you can use dandelion for something.
yeah,
Everyone's got a dandelion. I mean, you don't need to open up an ID book to know what a dandelion is because you just know it. And the
yeah.
crazy thing with that game specifically is that a lot of uses of the plants are the uses in real life too, which I think is super cool that they incorporate that kind of stuff
Yeah.
now compared to 10 years ago. A tree was just a brown upright stick with
Some green on it.
a green broccoli looking thing on top.
Yeah.
And they were all symmetrical.
I also like how the way the characters interact with nature has also evolved to where you would have a log just in the middle of your path and oh, it's blocked, but it's like barely a foot off the ground. You could easily just walk right over it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're taking more of a realistic approach, I feel, and it's nice. It's refreshing. It's not just there's a twig in the path. Oh no, we can't walk over it.
Yeah, the
And then
game
like the
glitched the
NPC
hell
says,
out.
"Look at that tree." It's clearly like a small branch. What?
Yeah.
That's not how that works. You can kick it out
Yeah.
of the way.
Yeah.
And also, I know with like the survival games and the resource gathering. I
Hmm.
mean, there's like Minecraft where it's just kind of you hit blocks and stuff happens,
Hmm.
to like um, Red Dead, um, the Forest. What else? I mean, even Skyrim for its time had pretty good like interaction, like cutscenes for the characters that were at that time pretty decent.
Hmm.
Um, to where they're actually showing some of the actual motions it would take to harvest that leather hide or those plants or
Hmm.
that wood.
Right.
And that's really nice because I feel like, some of those prior games just gave a false sense of fantasy to people that wasn't really there.
Right. To the
It,
extent of, I want to make a leather belt pouch, so I'm gonna go shoot a squirrel
have
and cut the hide off and then sew it into a pouch
fun
is kind
spending the
of
whole day.
is kind of where I've seen a lot of very green,
Thinking,
unexperienced mindsets as
mhm,
far as how the whole leather thing works. You
yeah.
don't just shoot
So,
a raccoon and make a haversack.
yeah.
Not that easy.
So it is nice with the survival genre of games that they're showing more of the actual realistic practical methods of
Mhm.
harvesting such resources.
Right. While still making that interaction not too long to the point where now the game's boring to play,
Yeah.
but long enough where you get a sense of
Oh, wow, there's a little bit more into this than I thought.
basically how it works. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is a very, very fine line that you need to tread
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you put enough time into this specific task, but not too much where people are just, dropping off the edge. And I think that a lot of games have done a really good job with walking that line pretty well.
Hmm.
But with that, does kind of make us go into more of, do we see it accurately represented to the best of their ability? Yes, I think so.
Well, that also kind of comes with the genre of game. You're not going to see super realistic details on moss or a tree in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
That's not their focus. They're going
right,
to have it look decent, but why would they focus on it? That's not the game.
right.
Compared to those survival type games that it is necessary because that's what you're interacting with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily believe it is at the same levels throughout all games,
Mm-hmm.
just due to the style of game. But I do think they have increased across the board in all the um, different kinds of medias of games to the point where it is at the highest point it can be in the style that's necessary. You're not
Mm-hmm.
going to have, again, super realistic looking plants in a Super Mario game. Well, there's
Right.
no need.
Yeah.
So I feel like where the need is, it's meeting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to what they bring out next to make it even better.
That's what I was trying to say.
There you go, bud.
Where the need is needed, it's met.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
You got it.
Now, here's another fun thing to delve into that's like that is the way the character interacts with those pieces of nature, I guess, how the
Elements
character
of nature.
interacts. Yes, the elements of nature, how they interact with the animal or the tree or the wind in some games
Yeah.
or the cold. Has that improved?
Yes. I think it totally has. There are a few games that it's improved so much that it's like, wow, this isn't fun anymore. Um,
Yeah.
because it's so realistic. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I tend to find that the realistic games
Mhm.
then they skew with how fast that would actually happen.
When
Like,
you said that, the first thing that I thought of was the first time that I played Far Cry Primal,
yeah,
and I went into the far north, and I mean there was a little temperature gauge, so you
yep,
know that it's colder up there than it is down in your homeland in the south. And but 5 minutes in, it popped up like you're suffering from hypothermia. Upgrade your clothing or find a fire. And it's
yeah,
like, this isn't good.
no. And I feel like that's the one thing that is tricky to balance
Mm-hmm.
because they want to make it that almost hyper realistic, but in order to still keep it a challenge and engaging, they have to make it still a little unrealistic. So they have
Right.
those realistic elements of hypothermia, wind, weather, all those different elements of nature that can just ruin your day,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to make it to where it happens like that to make it into a game. And
Right.
that they're fun, but they get real annoying real quick. It's like, I know this wouldn't be happening right now. I have so much more time.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's two sides of a
But then
coin.
also, the other thing that we need to take into consideration with that is that in game, time moves faster.
True, but I mean, can't you make a game where it's just real time?
I suppose you could.
I mean,
I
doesn't
don't know.
Sims do that where it's real time? I don't know.
I've never played
I'll probably
Sims.
get a lot of flack from that if I'm wrong. Oh well.
Probably.
I know there's a few games out there that it does happen in real time.
Okay.
And if there's a game developer out there that wants to do a survival game that's super realistic in real time, I am totally down to play that. I'll
Yeah.
I'll pay you to be able to play that, and then I'll do a review for you, bud.
Let the record show that only one of us said that statement.
Yep. But I don't know. It's tricky because you still have to make the game fun and challenging. And if you
Hmm.
make it too realistic, it takes away from that fast. And
Right.
it's that hard line to try and balance, and normally time is what is played with.
Hmm. And this is actually a really good segue into what can be improved.
Yes. Um,
And I think time, now that I didn't think about it, but now that we're talking about this, like that representation of time and how long your body reacts to the elements is something that could be improved.
yeah, don't get me wrong. There are scenarios where you would be dead within 5 minutes of hypothermia.
But
Granted,
it's not just because you walked into the snow for 5 minutes in shorts and a t-shirt. You'll
unless
be
it's
chilly, but
like negative, what, like 35 wind chill,
yeah, yeah, that'll be rough.
then yeah, it's a little bit closer. But
Hmm.
In that game setting, it was like you were just walking up a mountain and then there was snow.
And the moment that you step onto ground that doesn't have snow, it's like 70 degrees all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that the time aspect of survival games could be changed. Um, any more improvements on realistic graphics? I know that'll come with the technology. Awesome.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel like lighting in survival games is always weird. Um, like you don't get the right lighting when there's a full moon out, or with an actual torch or lighter. It's really weird settings. If
Hmm.
that could be altered, improved on, another plus.
Right.
Um, swimming, swimming in games. Please
Swimming
improve that.
swimming's a very big I think I like Skyrim swimming the best.
Okay, what about Assassin's Creeds?
Okay, Assassin's Creed is pretty good too.
They have pretty good
I take
swimming.
it back. Assassin's Creed, then Skyrim. All the Far Cry games, when you go for a swim, or no, Far Cry is pretty good. I'm thinking Dying Light game. Every time you get into the water, you drown for like 5 seconds before you start swimming. You step into the water, and for some reason, you drop way down, and all of your air comes out, and then you're just kind of floating there in the middle of the body of water, or you like come up and start swimming. And I don't understand why they do that. I mean, the main character is supposed to be like a CIA agent or something like that.
Yeah,
He
I
knows
know.
how to swim.
GTA 5 has pretty good swimming and just water interactions and graphics.
Hmm.
I have to give my props to them. I will say, for the Assassin's Creed swimming, I know you're supposed to be stealthy, but when you're in the middle of nowhere near no one and you're swimming, why are you always doing this underwater? Do
Hmm.
some front strokes for once.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, switch it up.
Yeah.
Granted, I
That'd be
don't make
another.
video games, so I don't know how difficult that would be. I'm guessing
Right.
it'd probably be quite difficult, but hey, got plenty of time on your hands, do it.
Yeah. That'd be a really interesting thing to plant some kind of like natural awareness meter like on your screen. So the more full it gets, the more the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, basically.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be a lot of programming, though.
yeah,
I mean, that'd go down to like every time a squirrel messes up some leaves or a deer steps on a twig, it would spike a little bit to a bear's charging you from behind and it needs to go all the way up to just knowing that there's nothing around and everything's fine and you can just swim like a normal damn person instead of an
yeah,
assassin wherever you are. That'd be a lot. But it would be cool if that could be an improvement as
yeah.
well.
And who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to the point where at that one movie, Ready Player One, where it's a whole VR world.
That that movie's a trip.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. So
And that kind of ties into our last point
yeah.
of, do games at the state they are at now represent or give a true sense of nature? I'm going to say they give it about like a 75 to 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 70 or 75.
It's not it's not quite there. You still got a little ways to go, but
Mhm.
compared to years before, it is looking pretty good. Like that is, it's good.
Yeah. And it's a very difficult thing to do as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that survival games have been around quite as long as first person shooters like Call of Duty,
Hmm.
and even them being around for almost 20 years, if not 20, they still don't have a, I would imagine they don't really have a the tightest grasp on replicating combat areas, even though their whole mission really is to just go and shoot the other people.
Yeah.
I guess they're not really trying to replicate it in real life. Maybe in their in their campaign of the game they are. But I feel like in 5 years we're still gonna say 75 to 80% there. you know?
Yeah. I mean, I will say with, the next gen systems that have come out, it does open a window to improve. I mean, I have seen some footage of like the performance mode on some of those consoles,
Hmm.
and it's like, wow, they really took the time to incorporate a lot of things. Like you'll see on like a shiny floor the reflection of something coming through the window, and like the
Okay.
lighting will actually be incorporated in how it should be. And I know that that's always been a struggle too, is lighting to make
Yeah.
that look realistic. So it's not just always daytime.
Right. Yeah. That's a trip.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I, I do agree. I feel like we're still, a ways off. Maybe in 10, 20 years, it'll be at the level we think, um, or we want it to be. But I mean, who's to say? We don't know.
yeah. It could just get super weird in 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, nobody knows. So, eh,
I mean, at this point, if you go into somewhere that's super cold in the game, your body might actually feel that super cold in real life.
yeah, and that would be cool. Being able to wear like suits or
Yeah, or
whatever, and
like a game closet.
yeah,
You go into just this closet or like a wardrobe where the whole thing is a screen and you're like physically interacting it and the ground is like a treadmill or something.
that actually has the physical elevations and
And
contours and
it like
everything.
conforms to what the substrate's like on the ground in game, and then
I mean, it'll be a great way to work out if you're always running.
yeah, yeah, for sure. If there is any video game designer that's ever watches this and you follow through with some of these ideas
We better
and
be test subjects.
you don't include us in it, that's all I got.
Yeah, we can't do much. I mean, we're just gonna sigh and be
Yeah,
disappointed, but
yeah, that's really all we're gonna do.
you'll know you'll have two people disappointed at
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like this was kind of a short one,
It was a short one. It's a good mix up from our previous couple or few episodes.
or 4 episodes.
For
4. There we go.
yeah,
Yeah, well, on that note, our next week episode is gonna be water. I think what you'll probably put out a reminder on the old Instagram if it
yep,
is a one or two parter.
yep. Rubber
Um,
Duck Doors on Instagram,
yep.
all one word.
If you liked what you watched, or not, I guess,
Let us
give
know.
us, yeah, let us know whether it's a comment, like, dislike, um, and if you did like it, maybe consider subscribing. We'll do more videos like this, with some other stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yep. There is some other ideas that we are
Working on.
currently working on.
Yep.
So don't think that
This is all we do.
all this is. Like that's not the case. At the
Nope.
moment, it is. But
Yep.
soon,
There will be some more stuff coming out,
yes.
and I think you folks will enjoy it.
Mhm.
But
Well,
with that, I'm Alec,
I'm Josh.
and this was Rubber Duck Outdoors. See ya.
Bye.